Welcome to my channel. Today I want to show you a book which I received as a part of my birthday present from coloring friend, and it's Amazon by Paul Brun. It's French edition printed in Spain. I believe that it's the second book by the same artist, and actually I love both of the books because both are printed in very good quality with nice thick white paper, beautiful soft touch cover, and both are dedicated to nature. But when my friend asked me which part I prefer, I selected the second, Amazon, because in the first one maybe nature is a little bit more familiar to me, more interesting birds, but there is a trick where from bodies of animals and birds there are grown flowers, leaves, branches, and that's not the thing which I like. It's element which I dislike in Hannah Carson, and it was available in the first book. Fortunately, in Amazon we mostly don't have such problem or such artistic element which I dislike. So Amazon, look at this nice shiny element. Even to look at this book is very inspiring and very pleasant color palette. Not what we expect maybe from Amazon, because I would say that I would color in more bright color, but this gives me more interesting view how I can select colors. Maybe I don't need to use 150 pencils for Prismacolor for each page as I usually do. Maybe even Amazon tropical pictures you can color with more limited color palette. That's definitely very inspirational. Here we have first pictures. We have info about the artist. I definitely will start to follow Instagram account, and I will visit personal site, because for now I don't follow, but I saw a lot of finished pictures from other colorists, so of course I was familiar with the book. Now let me adjust my camera. Paper looks quite thick and it's bright white. I think that's a perfect choice for botanical colorings. In this book we have several spreads, but it lays down quite well. You can open it and to lay flat, and there are no problems with reaching until the very binding. It's sewn together, so pages won't be falling apart. So as I said, quality is just great. I wish that all books would be printed in such quality and on such paper. And here is a style of pictures which actually what I love. A little bit of botanical elements, a relatively small empty background area, and you can either leave it with just a little bit of shading behind the botanical element, or even leave white because the main image is quite detailed. And there are adorable birds, insects and animals. Just look how nicely depicted feathers here. Very delicate line art. There are no very thick black lines which I dislike in botanical books, so really very nicely done. And you can select more complicated or more simplified drawings, smaller, bigger. Look at this parrot. Very interesting. That was a picture which I immediately noticed for myself, and I put into my to-do list. Look at this iguana, so beautiful. I definitely need to refresh my knowledge about what are most traditional animals, insects and birds for this region. Very interesting. I can say that I knew a lot about this area, so I can learn something new. And you know that another thing which I always appreciate in coloring books, a very interesting composition here with two included rounded frames here and more simplified landscape behind. Really very nice trick. And look here, capybara, my favorite animal. Just great. Look at these gorgeous birds. Well, I think that I need additional stash of blue and green pencils for this book, and additional stash of watercolor in blue and green colors, because that's two colors which you probably would be used for background more frequently here. And that's another one which I immediately noticed for myself, because I love everything here, and flowers and birds. Those huge water lilies. Maybe I will start from something smaller like this one to test paper for myself, to get used to the artist style. But of course, pictures like this one, where we have variety of birds, insects and various plants and flowers, are more interesting for me. So many orchids. I'm really very happy to find them here, because I love to color orchids. You can be very creative, you can find a lot of inspirational pictures for orchids. Oh yeah, that's probably example how it was in the first book, so something growing from the body, and that's not the thing which I love on pictures. Fortunately, here we have only one or two such examples, and the rest is perfectly healthy pictures. And look at this crocodile, just great. And this one, such an interesting trees. If you love something more romantic, you can do butterflies. And tapirs, that's my favorite in the whole book. They are so cute in real life, so I will be very happy to color them here. In the end of this book, we have these precious pages where we have names of the insects, birds and animals. Unfortunately, not for flowers, but at least thanks for the animals' names, so I can learn something, I can look at reference pictures. So for me, this was huge plus of this book, that we have small inscription about each of the pictures and who we can find there. And we have them in French and in Latin, so I will be able to find them. And finally, my other greatest joy was when I very briefly tested paper here. You probably know that recently I struggle with Epic World of Tolkien, where paper looks of similar thickness, but it behaves so badly with watercolor, so I had this constant problems. So I was also worried about this one, but then I tested blue and a couple of shades of green, and yeah, it's perfect without those tiny ugly stains. Of course, it's not watercolor paper, so you won't be able to do many washes or something very complicated, but to use it as a base for the background and then to work on top of it with pencils without getting terrible bleeding. You can see that nothing bleeded, and without ugly stains which I got in Tolkien, so paper just perfect. Thanks for someone in Ashet and someone in Spain who selected such paper and did this book in such a huge quality. such a great quality. Well, it was a great gift, very inspiring, and of course I'm eager now to select something and to try something for myself. If you already have colored this book, I will be happy to hear your opinion about this one. And yeah, I can definitely recommend this one to anyone who loves to color nature, leaves, flowers, animals, because you won't be limited yourself in selection of art supplies. You only will be thinking about beautiful color combos. So thank you again, and I hope that the next video with this book will be with something very beautiful, so I will try to color it in September.